get started here. We'll wait for folks to join and for our great panelists to join. Make someone a panelist real quick. Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Ziri. Pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm the Director of Public Policy at Equality Illinois. And so excited for you all to join us today for our second virtual LGBTQ Advocacy Day. Really excited for everyone to take action today, to keep Illinois moving forward as the welcoming and affirming state that it is. And that's particularly important. And I don't need to, y'all know what's happening across the country. You see what's in Florida, in Iowa, in Missouri, in Kentucky, in Idaho, in Georgia, Wisconsin as well. Just the ferocity of the anti-equality legislation we're seeing across the country, targeting LGBTQ people and trans youth in particular. And so more important than ever that Illinois keeps moving forward. We have some legislative proposals this year to help Illinois keep doing that. You've gotten some emails this morning, which you've hopefully all clicked the link on and sent a message to your legislator. You should have gotten an email about the LGBTQ older adults bill, which we'll talk about in just a second here. And also an action alert about the healthcare cultural competency legislation. And so you'll get 2 more emails this afternoon about the name change modernization bill and about a bill we'll talk about in a little bit, the increasing access to PrEP and PEP and community pharmacies bill. So really excited to see the change we can continue making in Illinois. And we have some great change makers and some great community leaders and stakeholders on the conversation with us today to talk about these particular bills. Really excited to have some conversations. We'll have some legislators join us as well, but it's a busy legislative day. I'm in Springfield right now in the fabulous State House Inn, just a block from the Illinois State Capitol. The Illinois House of Representatives is in session today, and then the Senate is not in session in Springfield, but they have committees happening right now. So we will hopefully have senators and legislators and representatives popping in to have conversations with us, but we also totally understand why they may be late or not be able to join us today. Moni, I saw you unmuted yourself.
Nope, just to say hi.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so the recording can keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, awesome. Well, I want to then launch into our very first panel. I'm really excited because this panel is extremely timely because this bill just passed the House Human Services Committee this morning. So really excited. It's the bill to disrupt disparities for LGBTQ older adults and older adults living with HIV. And our panelists will ask some questions to them in a second, but just a brief sketch of what the bill does. It's Senate Bill 3490. The bill does 3 things. It creates a 3-year Illinois Commission on LGBTQ aging. It requires that the director of the Department on Aging, who is currently Director Paula Basta, that the director appoint a LGBTQ older adult advocate department to make sure the perspectives of LGBTQ older adults and older adults living with HIV are incorporated throughout the department's programming and policy making. And then the third part of the bill is that state-funded providers of services to older adults must take LGBTQ older adult competency and awareness training. So we're really excited. This bill already passed the state Senate 37-9, bipartisan support, and it passed the House committee this morning. We have 2 amazing sponsors, State Senator Karina Villa and Representative Lakeisha Collins, who I don't know if they've been able to join us yet and might not be able to because of session, but I have 2 amazing community partners here. And if they want to turn their cameras on, it'd be amazing. We have Billy Rogers from the Golden Rainbows of Illinois South, and we have Kim Hunt, the Executive Director of Pride Action Tank, who, of course, they need no introduction beyond that, but they can say a few words more if they'd like. And the panels will be about 15 minutes. And, I have some prepared questions, but, really want to hear what they have to say. But starting out, Kim, Billy, why is Senate Bill 3490, the Disrupting Disparities for LGBTQ Older Adults bill, why is it important to you? And Whoever wants to go first, please jump in. Oh, I think, do we need to
Oh, Billy, you're on mute.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry about that. Well, I'll go ahead and kick it off since I was muted. I am personally living in this culture of disparity. I'm 66. My spouse of 32 years is 87. And I always say that I'm in the fourth quarter and he's on overtime. And this legislation directly affects both of us, as well as all the other 50 plus LGBTQA population in the state of Illinois, in particular, Southern Illinois too, which is where I'm representing. I mean, that's why it's really important to me.
Thank you, Billy. Kim. Oh, all right. I just asked to unmute you. You know,
there we go.
you figure this out after 2 years.
It's all good. Be glad to be in person again. First of all, thank you for having me. Mike, I feel like you and I are joined at the hip these days, working on many great things together. This bill in particular, I will say, back up and say that aging is one of the focus issues for Pride Action Tank, which is a project of AIDS Foundation Chicago. And so this bill does so many of the things that we and others have talked about for years needing to have happen. And the first among them was taking away this notion of invisibility of the LGBTQ older adult community. We know statistically that the majority of LGBTQ older adults feel like they have to go back in the closet when they enter long-term care facilities. And we also know that some providers and decision makers in these facilities feel like they don't have LGBTQ folks there. So I think this piece about removing invisibility is huge. The commission itself offers an opportunity to see what's happening across the state with LGBTQ older adults, as well as really provide opportunities for hearings and policy recommendations to continue to build upon the work that will happen with Senate Bill 3490. Having an advocate in the director's office for the Illinois Department of Aging is huge. Make sure that these issues are still at the table as decisions are being made. And then we know that training is very, very important to make sure that services are LGBTQ culturally responsive in recognition of folks who we know are there. And we want folks to be able to age with dignity and continue to be the amazing folks that they have been throughout their lives. So that's why it's important to me. And I'll be 60 this year. So hello, LGBTQ older adult.
Thank you, Kim. And to everyone, yeah, Kim and I are joined at the hip these days. We were both in a Zoom House Human Services Committee this morning, which Kim's testimony was so great that they passed the bill without even accepting testimony. So it just so happened that we had presented the bill previously, so they knew, but still, it was great. It was awesome. And the bill is poised, I think, for good outcome in the House, which of course is no reason not to send a message to your state rep still. So please do that. But Kim, I know you have done some, and Pride Action Tank, the Out Aging Committee, have done some excellent work. What are ways that Pride Action Tank and the Out Aging Committee, which, if you wanted to describe what the Out Aging Committee is too, what are some ways that y'all are equipping LGBTQ older adults and older adults living with HIV with the tools to make change? Oh, do I have to unmute you again?
I got her.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Moni and Mike are on that unmute button. Yeah. So we put together an Out Aging Committee in 2016 in preparation of planning a summit that focused on LGBTQ older adults. And like with all of our work, a convening is a opportunity to learn and to lift up potential solutions that can then be put into action. So that committee has continued since 2016 post summit. And some of the things that we heard from LGBTQ older adults is they wanted a platform to continue to share their stories. They wanted to continue to be advocates in healthcare settings, but also in public policy settings. And they want systems to be transformed to really meet their needs. And so we have been fortunate that our committee consists of some amazing folks, including Mike. It has LGBTQ older adults on it, service providers, scholars. So we've been able to do a couple of trainings that have become signature focused on LGBTQ older adults. One of them is storytelling and moving beyond the advocacy 101 to longer form stories. And then we create opportunities for those stories to be shared in advocacy settings so that legislators and other decision makers actually get a fuller sense of what a person's story is and how it can be impacted by policy. We also do advocacy training with LGBTQ older adults to prepare them for spaces like this and others. And then we are beginning to do research focused on LGBTQ older adults to really get a sense of what it is that their needs are and how they want to continue to contribute. And then the legislative pieces that we've been doing with Equality Illinois and others all have discussion and sometimes originate from that committee. And because of that, we've really been able to engage LGBTQ older adults in these conversations, which others have done. And I think I always like to say we build upon the work of others, and the results have been pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I know we always put on amazing events, legislative breakfasts, which even though it says legislative in the title, it's not just for legislators, it's for everybody to come. So I would encourage folks to pay attention to the Pride Action Tank social media platforms, because then you'll see some of these great opportunities to hear stories and for storytelling and to be part of this work. And also, speaking about building upon the successes and the work we've done, we did pass work on legislation a few years ago to be the first state in the country to designate older adults living with HIV as a population of greatest social need for aging programming. We're the third state to include LGBTQ older adults. So it's continuing this progression of work with that law and with this new bill this year. So Billy, I'm going to unmute you. I've learned my lesson. How are you responding to the challenges that LGBTQ older adults are experiencing in Southern Illinois?
Well, first off, I want to say that we live in a different culture in Southern Illinois. And if you don't live in a larger town like Carbondale, Mount Vernon, or Marion, there's another layer of isolation. And with that said, we don't have a lot of resources available. And access to high-speed internet is also a problem. I was a radio show host for the Chamber of Commerce when the pandemic first started, and we realized that our District 300 school district here in DuQuoin had, I think it was less than a third, but that's a lot of students that didn't have internet access available. So if the students don't have access, I'm one of them. I don't have access to high-speed internet. So that's problematic. It also occurred to me, Greece, let me explain a little bit. Golden Rainbows in Illinois South were very new. We are in our infancy stage, and we are relying on the training from Kim Hunt and others. I applaud you for everything you do, and Mike Zuri for including us and bringing us to the table. And we're responding with, we formed Greece, and it's under the umbrella of Rainbow Cafe. And Greece, our mission is to provide programs and resources for the 50 plus LGBTQA community in Southern Illinois. And we got involved with trainings throughout with SAGE and Equality Illinois and the Pride Action Tank, as well as Sarah and Halstead. And we've been doing a lot of the groundwork. Now we are just starting to get some of those programs off the ground, which I'm really excited about. On April 8th, we're having our first estate planning seminar. We have teamed up with the Outlaws, which is a gay and lesbian organization at the SIU Law School. And we're going to have our first program on estate planning with the focus on POAs. And for free, you can come in, and by the time you leave, you'll have a POA in hand. So that's huge. I just, but I think one of our problems though is, 13 counties in Southern Illinois is a lot of area. And we're still working on needs assessment, and I know they're there. It's just getting to them, and we're networking the best way we can, but reaching these people in these smaller populated counties is difficult. And in my opinion, they're the ones that's suffering the most right now. So it's been kind of being a priority of mine now. And that's not to say even in Carbondale and Marion and these other areas, I think economics plays a big role. A lot of our 50 plus retirees are living on fixed incomes. And again, that networking and getting these people to the table with us, I think a lot of them are scared and they don't realize, the resources that we are starting to provide for them. So, we got a lot of work to do, but I'm really proud of the work we're doing so far. I would also like to mention the storytelling and training. I'm looking forward to the training on the storytelling. Southern Illinois is rich in LGBTQ history. Many people probably don't realize that we have one of the first campus organizations that was sponsored by the university. It was established in 1971. And it was among the first universities in the nation to have a gay and lesbian organization. We have teamed up Greece with SIU, why am I drawing a blank here? The museum. And we're looking at getting a permanent installation on the LGBT community throughout, the 70s, 80s, the disparities we all felt during the AIDS crisis, and up through the 90s to the present. And it's going to be interactive. And I've made contact with people, and we're just putting some plans together at this time. We're also working, and I hope this legislation is important because trying to navigate the medical system right now is very, very, very difficult. My husband has arthritis and he doesn't have good vision, and constantly billing and such is coming through on text messages. Or if you're trying to call to make a regular doctor's appointment, they're asking you to put in your phone number and we'll call you back. Because even in rural health clinics here, they've gone to a central calling unit. So you can't call anymore to, DuQuoin Ray Clinic like we used to. It goes to a central agency where the phone bank. And then they ask you to put in your number. And it gets so confusing for the older adults. And again, adding this layer of disparity for the LGBTQA community, that just adds more problems for us. We have both, my spouse and I have both personally have been discriminated against, even the ER as of the last summer. And had I not had a POA, I would not have been able to sign off on his documents. That wasn't life-threatening situation. It was over a couple of stitches in his hand. However, his hand was the right hand, is the one he writes with. And he said, hey, no problem, my spouse can sign these. And they said, in no way can you sign these without a POA. Well, I whipped mine out quicker than they could say the words. But had I not had that, what are you going to do? And I don't think they would have asked that to a heterosexual couple, in my opinion, in a small town where everybody knows that, everyone at the hospital at that kind of level. So that's how we're responding, is we're trying to get programs and resources together and following the lead from Kim Hunt, Mike Zeri, and everyone else involved, and trying to become among the best of organizations in the state of Illinois and provide the people of Southern Illinois with the programs and resources that will be available. And I think even more available if we get this legislation passed.
Awesome. Thank you, Billy. I mean, I didn't know everything you were working on, so that's great. And I look forward to being supportive of all your work. And I think you were talking, the need for cultural competency in healthcare, which is a nice segue into our next panel. But in just a quick 1 minute, Kim and Billy, how can folks support the bill, the Disrupting Disparities for LGBT Older Adults bill? Just one or two things folks can do to take action for this bill.
Our mics are on. Okay, I wasn't sure. Well, I have been posting on our Grease page any information I get from you, Mike Zeri. It's like, please write a witness slip, do whatever. And we're also doing the best we can to network through social media, letter writing campaigns, etc., to the best of our abilities.
Awesome.
Yeah, same with Pride Action Tank. We've been sharing the information. We encourage people to reach out to their representatives. We want to get this bill across the finish line. And we also want people to be prepared to help on the implementation side, right? So getting the bill passed is one important step, but we also have to make sure that there is the awareness building that needs to happen to ensure that it is properly implemented. And Billy, you and I are going to be joined at the hip too. So
I'm looking forward to it, Kim.
Awesome. Thank you both. Really appreciate the partnership, the work you're doing. And we're going to get this bill across the finish line. Going to get to the governor's desk. He's going to sign it, and we're going to doing great work. And Moni just put into the chat organizational links for Greece, for Rainbow Cafe, for Pride Action Tank. So please sign up, follow them. Thank you so much.